We can either admire someone at a distance, or on some occasions we have the opportunity to get more involved and closer into their world, and to be able to admire them from close up. I remember when I was a kid, growing up here in New Orleans, there was a lady in our parish whom I admired for a long time from a distance. She was faithfully in church week after week, always sitting in the same place. And as she would come into the back of the church, she would use her white stick with a red bar to find a place up the aisle and into the pew. Needless to say, there were people there who were very anxious and enthused to help her, but she insisted that she didn't need any help, and I admired her from a distance. And finally, the day came when I had the opportunity, and it was followed by many others, to be in conversation with her. And I still look back on the privilege that it was to get into her world. Obviously, she was blind, so from eyesight, it was a dog. But in talking with her and getting to know her, I began to see very quickly, in spite of her physical blindness, a world was full of light. A world was certainly full of God's love and the acceptance of that. And I felt so privileged and still feel that privilege to have been a small part of her world of darkness and light. My sisters and brothers, today we are invited into the world of another blind person, Bartimaeus. Bartimaeus was not only blind, but he was very poor, and as we are introduced again to him today in the liturgy, he is sitting on the side of the road, begging, because he had been pushed aside by society. And he's literally on the side of the road in the gutter, begging. But he's a man blind in eyesight, but alive and has light of faith. He hears that this Jesus is in town, and he believes that this Jesus is not just a miracle worker or a prophet. He believes that he is the Son of God. And so he takes the opportunity to cry out at the very top of his voice, Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me. Have pity on me. But as we know, as the incident takes place, there were the others there who said, Jesus doesn't have time for this blind man who is a beggar, sitting in the gutter. And Jesus, overhearing this, becomes disturbed. He stops. And he says, call him over. We don't know exactly what their exchange was about. All we do know is that Bartimaeus was filled with faith. He believed that this Jesus was indeed God's Son, the Messiah. And then Jesus says to him, what do you want me to do for you? And his request is very simple. Master, I want to see. He doesn't ask for riches. He doesn't ask for success. Master, I want to see. And Jesus, seeing his faith, gave him his sight, and Bartimaeus became a disciple that day. My friends, as we read this gospel account, we may ask what may seem like a foolish question: how many blind people are there in this gospel account? And one could easily say on first reading, well, there's one, Bartimaeus. That's true. But there are many others. He's not the only blind man or blind person in the gospel today. Although Bartimaeus is obviously blind and in given his sight back by Jesus. He's blind physically, but at closer examination we see that Jesus is dealing with so many people around him who are blind spiritually, and their hearts are not full of charity. First of all, that they would say, Jesus doesn't have time for this poor blind man in the gutter, means that they are blind. Secondly, although they had seen Jesus preaching and teaching and working signs of faith, they have not come to believe. They are blind spiritually. And Jesus wishes to heal not only Bartimaeus, the blind man who cannot see, but those women and men who are blind and cannot see in charity of other people. Blind and cannot see the Messiah.